What's up, nail fiends? Welcome back to another video. So today on my channel I'm going to be doing, surprise a nail design on my own nails. I recently found this Model 1's Polygel kit on Amazon Prime for under £40. I thought it was a mega bargain, so I snapped it up and I'm going to be basically just sharing with you guys my thoughts, my opinions and doing my nails. So if you guys would be interested for this video, then just keep on watching. So my lovelies, diving right in with today's video, and before we jump into the fun stuff actually doing the nails, I thought I would share with you a little bit of information about the kit, the packaging and all of that good stuff. So basically, as you can see, the whole Polygel kit comes in this really great little package. It is all beautifully set up and I really love the packaging that it comes in, and you do get an absolute crap ton of products in here. So in it you get 6 polygels, and the colours of those are number 1, which is pure white, then next up we have number 2, and this one is called soft pink. And then the next one we have is number 3, and this one is called a light pink. Then we have number 4, and this one is called a light apricot. And then the last solid colour polygel we have is number 5, and this one is in nude. And then the last polygel we get in this kit is actually a temperature change polygel, meaning that it changes colour from hot to cold. This one is number 6. I am not the hugest fan of the colour of this, but I do think I am really intrigued by this. I haven't saw a product like this before, so yeah, this one is right up my street. And then you also get a set of clear curved nail tips. These come in 12 sizes and are 120 pieces per kit. Then you also get a 10ml bottle of Model 1's base coat, and you also get a 10ml bottle of their gel top coat as well. And then you also get a bottle of their Model 1's Polygel slip solution, and this is a 15ml bottle of that. And then also in this kit, guys, you get a couple of little decoration pieces. So first I got this little pot of blue ultrafine glitter, and then I also got a pot of these sort of like lavender little rhinestones. Super cute. And then the next item you get in this kit is a 180 grit Model 1's nail file. And then also in this kit, guys, you get a dual-ended brush. So on one end you will have your polygel brush, and on the other end you have your spatula. And then the last few bits you get in this kit is your instruction manual. So this completely talks you through the first step to the very last step of applying their polygel. And then you also get some gift vouchers with some money off your next order, and also a little help guide. And finally, guys, I just also wanted to mention that in each polygel tube you get 15 grams of product. And quickly, guys, just so you can have an up close look at the brush, like I said, on one end you have a really fine brush, and on the other you have your spatula. So my friends, now that we have discussed all of the products, let's jump into the fun stuff and actually see what this polygel kit is like. So before I go in with the polygel, I am of course going to prep and prime my nails. So that starts with me completely sanitizing my nails with my hand sanitizer, and then I go in and push back my cuticles, remove any of that excess dead skin from the nail plate, and this will help with adhesion of the polygel and make sure you have no lifting. So you do want to remember that you go in underneath that epinicium, get as much of that dead skin off as you possibly can, and sanitize properly. And then of course I am going to go in and score my nail plate, and to do that I'm just using the file that came in the kit, and I'm basically using the small rounded end just to make sure I have scored the surface of my nail by removing any surface shine, any excess skin that was on that nail plate, and also push back my cuticles a little bit more. And you do want to remember at this step to be very careful because it is super easy to thin out your natural nails. And then I'm now going in just to dust off any of that excess dust and debris, and here is my nails once they have been scored and ready for the product. Now this next step is completely optional, but I do like to go in with my cuticle nippers and just remove any of that excess dry skin. You guys may remember I say it all of the time, I have really dry skin on my fingers, and I do tend to get sort of like a little raggy bits, so I really like to just trim them off just to make sure that my nails are nice and neat. I am not taking away any of my live skin or anything like that, it's just merely little bits of dry skin that are around my cuticle area. So guys, if you haven't been sleeping under a rock, you will know that there is a few ways that you can apply polygel to your nails. You have gel forms which come with the kit, so if you prefer these, you have everything you need. You also have your regular nail tips and also paper forms. For me personally, today I'm going to be using just regular nail tips from Glitter Planet UK. I've already gone ahead and measured all my nails up and applied my polygel to the rest of the nails for the sake of quickness, but I'm just going to show you here everything I do when I'm applying my tips. So as you saw there, I measured them up with my finger and they were a little bit too big, but the size below is too small, so I always go with the bigger one and then basically file them into shape to match my own natural nail. And I also go ahead and just thin out that contact area with my file a little bit. It just means that I'm not doing it on my natural nail and I'm not risking taking any layers off my own nail, so I prefer to do it off the nail. A little bit stupid, but yeah, it works for me. And then I'm just applying my glue and also applying some glue again to that contact area for better adhesion of that nail tip, and then I just firmly press that onto my nail, and then I also go ahead and add another tiny little bit of that glue just to where those little wings are, and then I will go in with my tweezers just to go ahead and hold them in place. And the reason I do this is to make sure I have a complete 100% fit of those nail tips to my natural nail and there is no gaps, because with gaps it is a breeding ground for bacteria and it could cause greenies or nail infections, and you really don't want that, so you want to make sure your tip is fully sealed. Then using my tip cutters from Nailart, I am just going to go ahead and tip off that little pointy tip there so I have a more coffin shape. And I'm now going in, again this step is completely optional, but I do it all the time whether I'm using acrylics, gels, it doesn't matter. So I first dehydrated my nail with the Cjp dehydrator, and then I'm now going in with their extra strength acid free primer, and I'm applying this to my nail, allowing them to air dry in between each layer. And then the next step is to go in with your base coat. I prefer to use a soak off base coat underneath my polygel nails for a few reasons. One, it helps with better adhesion of the polygel to the nail, but it also helps with the removal process. So again guys, it's just that extra step, but it really is handy. And then you go ahead and pop that into your LED light for 60 seconds. And then again, depending on how you like to work, for me personally, when I remove my nail from my nail light, I go in with some nail cleanser to remove the sticky layer, but again, that is an optional step. And now guys, on to actually applying the polygel. So as you can see, I have a few little tools here that I'm using. First I have my dapping dish, just a small one so I could put my slip solution in it, and I also have a paper towel beside me so I could wipe my brush, because you do need to make sure you're wiping your brush frequently. So the polygel that I'm using on my nails today is number 2, which is their soft pink. I really like the colour in the pot, but once I put it on my nails, it was just a little bit too, I can't even describe it, not too pink, but it wasn't pink enough, if that makes any sense. Like, it had this almost like, it definitely was a cover powder and not a nail polish colour, if that just, guys, is making no sense to even me, so the chances are that it's making sense to you is slim to none, but there we bloody go. So anyway, as you saw, I just rolled that polygel onto the middle of my nail. I always put the polygel on where my tip meets my natural nail because that is the stress area, and then I basically push that polygel Polygel up into the cuticle area, thin it out nicely at the side walls, the cuticle, and also at the tip, and then I leave the bulk of my product right where I basically placed it, because like I say, you never need enough, like too much strength at the cuticle area or at your tip. You always want to make sure you're building your apex and adding the strength to that contact area, because they will literally just pop off. So I just basically go ahead and dipped my brush into that slip solution, which I was not a fan of, by the way. It was an absolute nightmare to work with. It didn't clean the brush as well as I thought it would, so I ended up emptying that out and going with plain isopropyl alcohol, and that worked so much better. So yeah, I do think that the slip solution in the pot was a little bit of a flop for me personally. So guys, as you always know from my other Polygel videos, I always do 2 coats, and I did the same with this. So if I have any breakages or anything like that, I will keep you guys updated. I basically used this Polygel exactly as I would use any other kind of Polygel that I have. And what you saw me do there was roll that bead of Polygel to my stress area, and I always focus my product there, simply because I think that it just gives your nail a lot more structure. If you are working with the right apex, the right structure, everything goes right. So if you are applying properly, then you could definitely see how easy or how good this product actually is by its longevity and things like that. So that's what I was going in with this. I am going in now with my second coat, and you want to make sure you're curing each of these coats for 60 seconds on the top of the nail and 30 seconds underneath, so you have a complete dry cured product. So guys, my next step once I had fully cured that product was to go ahead and remove the sticky layer and cleanse that nail once again. And then I am going in with my tip cutters just to snip off the excess, because I didn't want these to be overly long this time. So I'm just going in, snipping off a little bit of that nail, and then I'm switching over to my nail file to go ahead and do some filing. So you could see here that I'm starting with the tip of the nail. I then go to the underside of the nail, and then I do the side walls, and then I will go around the whole nail with the nail file. So basically starting at that cuticle area, making sure everything is nice and flush, and then just going down the body of that nail to make sure everything is nice and even. And as you can see guys, with this nail file, it didn't really do a bang up job of filing the product. It was a little bit, not flimsy, but it definitely wasn't as gritty as some of my other files. It did the job, and if you're in a pinch, I would say, yeah, use it. But if you have another brand of nail file out there that's your preference, then I would definitely say go in and use that first, because not only will it help make sure your sidewalls are nice and crisp and whatever, but shaping will just be so much easier. It took me freaking forever to file this nail with that nail file. So yeah, I hate to sound like a negative Nancy, but I really did not like this nail file whatsoever. And then once I have filed that nail, I go in with a sanding block and just go over that nail and the underside, just again to make sure everything is nice and even. And then, like I said before, I did have to go ahead and switch over nail files to my glitterbels one, just so I could crisp up that whole nail, because I felt like I really didn't get a proper shape with that Model 1's one. And as you can see guys, here is the nails once I have finished filing and buffing them, and you could most definitely just go ahead and add a layer of top coat and be done. But I wanted to add a little bit of decoration since I am going to be wearing these for a while. I wanted something nice to look at. So first I went in with number 002, which is called Delicate French, and this is a beautiful gel polish by Semilac. And the reason that I'm using this is because, like I said at the beginning of the video, this soft pink wasn't my favourite shade of pink once I applied it to the nail. So I wanted something a lot more sort of fresh looking as opposed to like a cover colour. So yeah, I went in with 2 coats of this Semilac gel polish, and it really did bring the nails up to a really beautiful girly pink. I absolutely loved it. And as you can see guys, I had zero issues in applying this gel polish. It did apply super smoothly over that Polygel. And one thing I will say is, while that Polygel is a lot softer than ones I've used previously, it did apply flawlessly to the nail, and it dried and filed really nicely once I switched over files. I had no problems with it at all, and I was actually really happy with the application of it. So yeah, onto the nails again. We are now going to go ahead and pop them into an LED light for 30 seconds, and then I went in with my second layer of that Semilac gel polish. And then of course guys, once I had taken these out of the light and removed the sticky layer, I am now going in with my top coat. I always like to remove the sticky layer before applying another polish. I'm not too sure why, but it's just the way I work. So yeah, I will say I really loved this top coat. It is super shiny, really easy to work with. It doesn't have a strong smell or anything like that. And I must admit, it was one of my absolute favourite products from the whole kit. It is just simply flawless, and one I will definitely be purchasing on its own. So it's actually a UV and LED gel polish, so it is perfect for any kind of light that you have. So curing will obviously differ between which kind of light you are using, but for an LED light you want to cure that for 60 seconds. And once again, lovelies, here is an update on the nails once I have applied 2 coats of my colour and also my top coat. So again guys, you can most definitely leave those nails like that. They're absolutely gorgeous, but I wanted to add some nail art to mine. So before I do that, I am going in with my Ink London nail buffer, and I'm just going to gently remove the surface shine of that nail. And again, file my nails just to make sure everything is in shape, because I do find with gel polishes, nails could tend to lose their shape. So I always like to go in with a little bit of a buffer just to make sure everything is in line before I go in with the next step. So for my nails today guys, I am actually using some nail foil. I'm so freaking excited because I haven't used nail foil in years, but I've took a little bit of an inkling to add in a little bit of foil to everything recently. So I'm first going in with my Finx Gel from Finx Gel. This is basically an adhesive that helps adhere your foils and such to the nail. So I cured that for 60 seconds, and then onto that sticky gel, I'm going in with this absolutely gorgeous rose gold foil, also from Finx Gel, and then I'm going in with this mirror silver one that I got in a set from Cjp. I'm basically just adding these randomly to one side of the nail, and I did that on all of those nails exactly the same. And come on guys, just look at how freaking gorgeous those 2 foils match that gel polish. I am so in love. And then of course I wanted to add a glossy top coat again, so I'm going in with that Model 1's gel top coat. I'm applying this to all of the nails, and then again I pop that into my LED light for 60 seconds, and here is what the nails look like once all of the foil is on all of the nails. And finally guys, I am going to be adding a little bit of bling to this nail. I didn't want too much because I basically wanted the foil to be the centre point, but I'm going to be using these SS3 Swarovski crystals in AB from A&A Glitter, and also the pink water opal ones that I also got from A&A Glitter. And then to apply them, I'm using my pickup tool from A&A Glitter and also my glitterbels base gel. This is the first time I've actually used this. Surprisingly, I got it from A&A Glitter. So yeah, I'm basically just using this to apply some really nice sort of like a sort of jewelry cuff around the nail, starting with a larger size of those opal ones in the centre, and then surrounding them with SS3, SS4 and SS5 Swarovski crystals. What I did notice with this base glue is that it does take a little bit longer to dry than my regular glue, so you do want to remember to allow those crystals to properly set before you go on with sanitising the nails and things like that. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm sanitising my nails with my hygiene spray, and then I go in with my Vaseline hand cream. I really work that into the skin, and then I allow that to set for a few minutes, and then I finish off with some homemade cuticle oil. I actually got this one from a really lovely lady on Facebook. She does some awesome scents. This one is called Love Island and totally smells like summer. I absolutely adore it. So yeah, as you can see, just working that once again into my fingers and giving them a little bit of a massage. And finally guys, here is what the design looks like once everything is done, and I must admit I actually really like the end results. While I will admit that that polygel was far softer than any other polygel I have used before, it is a little bit more of a nightmare to work with. The end product is absolutely beautiful, but what I will say is, for me personally, it's not a product that I favour. I was a little bit disappointed with the consistency, the colours and things like that. I would definitely not repurchase, but I would use again, if that makes any sense. Like, I have it already, so I wouldn't go out and buy any more now that I know. But in terms of what I'm left with, I am really happy with my nails. And finally, my lovelies, to finish off today's video, if you did enjoy my Polygel first impressions nail design today, then please give me a thumbs up. I would totally appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't already, don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit that notifications bell to be updated anytime I upload a new video. And as always, to my lovely returning subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!